We're going to tie a red butt midge. I've got a Tiemco 206BL hook, size 16, 17-aught white uni thread. Tie the thread in behind the eye and wrap it all the way back, way deep into the bend. I'm going to take a piece of tinsel, red tinsel, and tie it in at that butt end section and wrap it around probably 3 or 4 times. I like that red tinsel because when you put some UV resin over the top of it, the UV resin acts like a magnifier and it really shines. About 3 wraps. Tie it off. Now what I have is a piece of, this is rust-colored peacock quill that's been stripped. I love this stuff because down one edge it has a black line, but the rest of it is a reddish color, rust color. Take my thread, bring it up into the thorax area. I'm going to try to taper it a little bit so it gets a little fatter, but you're going to see I leave quite a bit of space between the eye and where the end of the thorax is. That's where I'm going to put my peacock curl, and I want it to not have a huge hump over there on the top of it. See, I'm trying to just build up the head part of it so it's tapered. I'm going to tie off my thread and then wrap my strip peacock quill up to that point and tie it off. You can do some fun things, you know, that red tinsel, you can actually leave it and tie it all the way up to the top so it's underneath, and then just leave hints of it in between the peacock quill, and it'll give a nice little shiny rim, especially with the dark edge of the peacock, strip peacock. I'm just wrapping it up edge to edge. Bring it all the way up to the top. See how I left that space? That's where my peacock curl is going to go, and so I don't get that buildup, that big head right there. I like it to be a very gradual transition. I trim and then tie off. Then I'm going to take some red goose quills, goose biots, and they're going to be my wing pads. It's tied in by the tips. I'm pretty picky on my positioning on these quills. I need it to cover up the bottom edge of my medallion sheeting, and not so far down so that it doesn't protect it, that edge. Now I've got a piece of medallion sheeting, it's 1/8 of an inch wide that I'm binding in there. It'll be my wing case. Now you could add breathers, white breathers. I kind of blow that off. I'll add them though. Now this is just a piece of red peacock curl. Doesn't look so red here, but trust me, it is. I love these colors, all kinds, and it still has the iridescence. I don't like the stuff. Some of these guys dyed it so heavily that it's no longer iridescent. It's a great color, but it lost its iridescence. I like the hairline stuff that's still iridescent, but it's got that tint of red to it. Now I'm barely holding on to my hackle pliers because this stuff will snap. And I'm of course, using my vise to my rotary. Actually, one of the few times I actually use the rotary function of my rotary vise. Tie that off. I'm going to trim it up a little bit. I like to cut the top of it because I like that, not so much of a bulb on the top of the fly. Now that's my medallion sheeting. It's mottled brown. And it's the old stuff. It's not the new stuff they've come out with. pull up my wing, trim off, and then pull up my wing pads. Get a chance, buy these kind of nippers. They're convex shaped. The blades are convex shaped. I used them. They were used for wraps on a bamboo rod to cut it to the quick. I got little hairy things in there I like to trim off. And pull my biots forward. Didn't like it much. Didn't cover the right section. So I smush it down a bit, pull my biot over again, and see how it lays a little bit better. That's what I'm after. Smushed it down, pull the biot over, wrap it a couple times. Now I'll pull them back and I'll use those nippers again, those convex bladed nippers, to trim it off really close. Better than scissors, at least in this for this instance. Now I'm going to whip finish just a couple times, and then I'm going to marker that white thread. What I've got here next is I'm going to put the drop of UV nonsense and mush it off all around. What I needed to do is actually to cover the goose biots and down into that little red butt section so it coats real well. See how that UV nonsense just magnifies that, both the tinsel as well as that biot? It really looks pretty. And now I'm just smushing it around. I get a little picky. I just like, even with the resin, I like it to have a nice shape to it. So I'll take a little bit of time, push it down so it coats the biot. On the other side, I'm just making sure I cover the medallion sheeting in the biot, and then I'm trying to shape the abdomen section and pulling it down also into the tinsel section. I didn't like the way it was flowing, so I got a little bit more nonsense, and I'm filling in the sections that I want it so it looks proper. Right now I'm trying to take some of the resin out from the bottom of it. I'm going to take my UV light, this laser, and just zap that baby. Less than 2 seconds on any of the sections. Pretty resilient after I get it done.